All right, day 1 of 2021 soul winning completed. All right, and nobody would answer the freaking door. Okay, so we knocked and nobody home. So we had 85% nobody home. Or they wouldn't answer. Who knows? There were cars in the driveway. It's just nobody answered the freaking door, and then nobody would talk to us. There's this one house with a sign that said, "If you enter, please wear a mask. Sanitize the door handle." And a guy, an older gentleman, answered the door with blue gloves and a mask on. I'm like, man, okay, he's all decked out and, okay. But anyway, that's just the life of soul winning. That's just how it goes. Well, hello. January 5th, new soul winning year. And we're gonna focus on soul winning, okay? A lot more this year. And I'm heading out right now with the pastor of the local church that we're going to. It's a soul winning church, and the pastor goes out and soul wins anytime you ask him. Today is a Tuesday, but I cannot join their Saturday morning soul winning times because my work doesn't allow it, and that's just how life circumstances are. So I asked the pastor, "Can you soul win Tuesday?" He says, "Absolutely." So it's great to have a pastor, provoke each other to love and good works. And, so here we go. It's 10 o'clock. And now for those of you that are thinking, oh, there's going to be video of soul winning. There's not going to be video of soul winning. You can't get video. It doesn't work. What are you going to do? Here's the door right here, What are you going to do? Film somebody at the door? You can't do that. I don't know how long we're going to be out there. We're going to go to one of the neighborhoods, Tanglewood Drive, and it's a little bit over there by Walgreens. And, we're going to get the layout of the land here. We're going to see I'm going to see what it's like. I'm going to be the silent partner and just kind of tag along with the pastor. And, I've been soul winning many years, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't need to know. I'm not one to butt in. We just joined the church. So I'm going to tag along as silent partner, get a feel for how he does things, and we'll go on from there. So, of course, 2 Corinthians 4:7, famous soul winning verse. Here it is. We'll start with verse 3. Now listen to this. This is kind of what pushes us to go out there. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. All right, the lost, the unbelieving ones. Okay. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Do you see that? So lost is believing not. Okay. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, so we're not knocking on people's door, preaching ourselves, preaching our own opinions, preaching church beliefs, preaching man-made doctrines, preaching philosophy. No, we're not. We're not preaching ourselves. It says right here, but Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Jesus' sake. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, hath shined in our hearts, right? So it's shined in our hearts to do what? To give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. That's what we're going door to door doing. Okay? It's the light of the gospel has shined in our hearts. We believe, because the light was given to us. We believe. Okay? Now we give. Okay, what does the verse say? We give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God. What's the glory of God? The face of Jesus Christ. Okay? But we have this treasure. What treasure? The light of the knowledge of God. Okay, the glory of God. Now remember Romans 3:23, we come short of the glory of God. Okay, and what's the glory of God? In the face of Jesus Christ. So we all sinned and come short of Jesus Christ, basically. Okay, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, which is us right here. We have this treasure in us, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. Okay, so we have the gospel in us so that the power of God can be given to other people and not ourselves. Okay, so that's what we're doing. I'll give of course, right after soul winning, this is my house right here. I've just exited the door, and now we're going to go out soul winning. It's a little past 10, and I'm going to meet the pastor over there. It's about a 7-minute drive. And so after I soul win, I'll give the thoughts. I'll give what happened from our time. All right. All right, there it is. Tanglewood and Ridgeway. That's where we're at. This is the neighborhood right here. And today we just walked one half of the street. That's all we did. Okay. So, all right, we just got done soul winning. I just pulled over in this abandoned parking lot. So we just finished 5 minutes ago, and the pastor had to meet somebody at 11 o'clock. And so we were only out there for 45 minutes this time, but it's a weekday. Like I said, I can't do it Saturdays. And the pastor said there's different groups of people. There's like a weekend. You hit the people on the weekend, which is a little different scenario than people on the weekdays. Okay, so, but anyway, that's all I can do right now. So, no salvations, and mostly nobody homes, actually. There were cars in their driveway, but like just nobody answered the door. So like I said, pretty traditional. I didn't get to hear the pastor go into a gospel presentation, which is one of the reasons that I want, I wanted to see it, just to see but his approach is really good. Just he knocks on the door and says, "Hi, I'm from this Baptist church, and I'm here." He says, "I'm here to invite you to church." And then depending on their answer, do you have a church home, and are you going to church anywhere? And then there's a little friendly conversation, and then he says, "But can I ask you one more question? More important than church and all of that is if you died today, do you know if you would make it to heaven?" And that kind of thing. Okay. And then a couple of people answered yes, and then he says, "Can I ask you what you base that upon?" Because a lot of people base it on different things. What do you base your answer on? And that was so far. I only got to hear his approach when he knocks on someone's door. That's it. So really interesting today. So I asked the pastor about permits, and he says, "Nope, you don't need a permit. We're not selling anything. You don't need a permit going soul winning." And he doesn't know. You, according to the official rules, you do. You actually, I checked into it when we got kicked off of the property, of the apartment property for soul winning. I did research. I went into the police station with my daughter. We talked to the police chief, and he says, "Yes, you do. You absolutely, and I made it specific. I said, even if I'm sharing Jesus, knocking on the door. And the police department said, yes, you do need a permit for telling people about Jesus. If you hand out a literature, like a tract or any type of literature, you need a permit. If you knock on someone's door and do face-to-face talking, you need a permit, according to the police department. Okay, so anyway, but he doesn't know, and we're just gonna go. Permit, we're just gonna go. Okay. So, but anyway, it would take someone calling the police. The police comes out, then they could kick us off without a permit. But how many people are going to call the cops? Chances are none. So, but anyway, so it was interesting. A lot of people. There's this one house with a sign that said, "If you enter, please wear a mask. Sanitize the door handle." And a guy, an older gentleman, answered the door with blue gloves and a mask on. I'm like, man, okay, he's all decked out, and he probably, once he heard the door knock, he probably got all of his stuff on, to prepare for someone at the door, And then other people, we had one small conversation, not on the gospel or anything, just about, she went to, there were some churchgoers, and one gentleman, he said he went to a Calvary Pentecost church. And the pastor and I looked at each other, we've never heard of that, But anyway, and at the end he says, "That's okay, I feel secure where I'm going." And afterwards I looked at the pastor, I said, "Did he just say he feels secure?" Okay, I mean, whatever, Another woman, we woke up. Okay, she came stumbling to the door, like this. It's like, "Hello, how can I help you?" But she worked overnight, and she had a Home Depot shirt on. And for me, I would be like, "Oh, you work at Home Depot? I used to work there," that kind of thing. But she was pretty nice. She went to a church, but we were talking about our church, and she was saying, "Man, they don't make church like that anymore. We would like to have church like that again," is what she was saying to us. And we invited her and everything. But she is a potential, I might, with my daughter, I might go back to that house and just to see if she'll listen, if we can catch her at a good time. And then another lady kind of answered the door, pretty good attitude, and seems like she would talk again. But a lot of them were like cold stone, just no thanks, we're good, that kind of thing. So what else? One lady, we answered the door almost with tears in her eyes. She was distraught. So we caught her, she answered the door in a distraught manner with wet eyes, and the pastor was like, and the pastor was saying, "How's it going? My name is, this is John," and she was like, "Not good. It's not good today." And wow, so, and the pastor was saying, "Well, can we help you with anything? Is there something we can help you?" And she goes, "No." And I was like, "Okay." We just says, the pastor says, "Well, can I ask you one question?" And she says, "Sure, but that's it." That's what she said. She goes, "Sure, ask me, but that's all. We're done after that." It's like, okay. And then she goes, "Do you even care?" And the pastor said, well, we can pray. Do you want me to pray for you? And she goes, yes, pray over this house. So, whatever that means. And, people in a distraught kind of a mind, they're not gonna they need to settle down before they focus on the light of the gospel. So, I think I might later go back to that house. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's today's adventures. But nobody would answer the freaking door, okay? And nobody would talk to us, So, but we were only out there for 45 minutes, and of course, fishers of men. We're basically going out to try to bring fish in, to try to get fish. And we use different means, and the bait is the gospel. That's what we're putting on the end of our hook, and we're throwing it out to the water. All right, and we preach the gospel, and to see who will take it, who will take the bait. Bait as in a good thing. Okay, kind of like worms are food for fish or whatever. The gospel is food for people, and so it's a good bait, but we're fishers of men, and we're trying to go out there, and we're seeing who we can reel in, who we can bring in to the kingdom. And we have to have the mindset that most people, most people aren't going to listen. That's my mindset. Okay, that's what most people are not going to listen. Because if you go out there and say, all right, I'm going to get people to listen to the gospel, they're all going to listen to the message, I'm going to preach the gospel, chances are you're not. Okay. At least maybe we went to a middle class kind of a neighborhood. It wasn't poor. Okay. It wasn't. It was not a rich, affluent. It was kind of this mid, kind of a mid. I wouldn't even say upper middle, although some of the houses were kind of upper middle. But so yeah, most people aren't going to listen, and so when you have that mindset, then you're more focused. You're looking for the person who wants to listen. You're looking for a person to reel in the line. Okay. So that's the adventures of today. Not very much today, and so, but maybe next time. But this is kind of day one of soul winning for 2021. All right. So real quick, here's how I use soul winning. I use Google Maps, and literally as I'm soul winning down the street, I've got my phone and I have Google Maps out, and I'm keeping track of each house. Okay. And so, of course, as you know, my job is my soul winning job is Cleburne, Texas, and it has a population of 30,710. And I take it as my personal responsibility to do it. And of course, the pastor, his goal is to reach every house in Cleburne as well. And so it helps when we've got two different, 2x2. It makes you can get more done and that kind of thing. And so let me show you real quick. All right, just let me run this down really quick, and here's how I do it. And here's Google Maps out, and of course, Cleburne is highlighted right here. Here's all of Cleburne there, and so that's where we live. And so that's not where we live. That's just a marking. So anyway, again, so. And I use Google Keep Notes, and see, we went to Tanglewood today, and this is the house 1200, 1202, 1204, and I literally will write as I'm walking, like nobody home, nobody home, not interested, as in we're not going back to that house. Okay, they're just not interested at all. 12:14, a little conversation we had, and she says, I'm saved. And the pastor left it at that. The pastor, so I just little notes. This one at 12:28, they said, I feel secure in my salvation. Okay, so anyway, and I mark it, and then later I go back and mark it on the map. And here's what I'm talking about. So let's do first 1200 Tanglewood, nobody home. Okay, so we go back to the maps and we go to 1200 Tanglewood. All right, so let's zoom in here and you can get basically individual houses, of course. And you can make notes. And let's go to 1200 Tanglewood. Okay, we just happened to type in 1200 Tanglewood, and that's where we started. That was the very first house we knocked today. And let's zoom in. And we go in, and right there, Tanglewood and Ridgeway, as we said, that's the first house we knocked. Nobody was home. And of course, we parked right here on the side. And right here, this is the first house. So what you do then is you click on that one and 1200 Tanglewood, and you do this. You add a label, okay? Literally right on the house, add a label. And you just type in nobody home, okay? And that's a permanent label on that house. And so I can go back and knock it with Autumn if I want, or something like that, okay? Add label, and there you go. And there we go. It adds that label, nobody home at that house, okay? Then the next house, all right, so now it's permanently there, okay? So if you go back here, look, even if you zoom out, nobody home at 1200 Tanglewood. And we just walked, we only walked this half of the street this time. We did that whole half right there, okay? And then we quit somewhere over here and we had to walk back. Pastor had something going on at 11 a.m. But anyway, the next house, okay? And that is 1202 Tanglewood. And 1202 was not interested. Okay, that just means we were not coming back and that kind of thing. Okay, so over here, 1202, you can literally click on that one and right there. So once again, you add a label right up there and not interested. Okay, so not interested. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so then right there. So now I can go back and see. Okay, see, nobody home here, not interested here, and you keep on going. And this is the way to mark all the places we've been. So now you zoom out, and let me show you once again. This is our responsibility. Every house in Cleburne. Okay, and today we start out. Now the pastor told me today he told me all the places he went. Okay. But if you think about it, here's where everyone lives, right here. And our job is to knock all of these houses right here. All right. I don't know how long it's going to take us, but there we all are. And we start, at least me, we start here. Besides the apartments, now we hit the Vias at Henderson apartments. Okay, I did that for like 3 months before we were kicked out. But this begins our door knocking in the residential areas of Cleburne. Okay, so that's the goal right there. And we've already marked This is where we've been, and I'm going to be marking all of these houses later on.